So thank you very much for coming to Toyota Automobile Museum today. And my name is Saki and I'll be your guide for this guided tour. So the guided tour will be held in 1 hour. So first of all, I'd like to tell about the brief history of this museum. So this museum was opened in April 1989 to commemorate the 50th anniversary of Toyota Motor Corporation. So this main building is the Automobile Gallery. On the second and third floors, we display 140 vehicles from the birth of gasoline powered car to the recent one. So it's not only Toyota products, so you can compare the size and design of the automobiles from the birth of gasoline powered car to the recent one. There also we have the other building too, that's the Culture Gallery. So Culture Gallery also opened in April 1999 to commemorate the 10th anniversary of this museum. So in the Culture Gallery there are 3 floors as well. On the first floor there's souvenir shops and cafes, and on the third floor is the library for just only about cars. And on the second floor we display, we have the special exhibition room and automobile culture showroom. In the special exhibition room, we display the automobiles and motorbikes from our backyard. And also in the automobile culture showroom showcase not only about cars, like posters and miniature cars that related to cars. So please feel free to look around after this guided tour. Okay, first of all, I'd like to introduce this black car. This is the Toyota Model AS7, and it is Toyota's first passenger car. It was produced in about 7 years, from 1936. So this displayed car is not original one, it's a replica, exactly from the original drawings. So engine displacement is 3,400 cc and it developed 65 horsepower. At first it was called Toyota, not Toyota. In 1937 they changed name to Toyota. This is because it was easier to pronounce than Toyota, and also the Toyota was the family name of the founder of Toyota Motor Corporation. So they thought it would be kind of individual company if you use the family name. So they wanted to be kind of international company, so they changed name to Toyota. Now please look at the interior from this side. Interior is also a replica, but exactly from the original drawing, so it looks same as the original one. So this car have 2 types of horns, and one on the steering wheel is the electric horn, and under the steering wheel is the hand air horn, like black balloon thing. Yeah. So at that time in the town, there is horse-drawn carriages everywhere. So if they use the electric horn, kind of the cows and horses get surprised, so they use the hand air horn. And there's a 2 white braided cord hanging down from the rear ceiling is in an assist grip. So you grab the wooden white cord.
Yeah.
And this photo is the original one that found in Russia in 2008. So the original model of this car is now displayed in Roman Museum, which is in Netherlands. That's the only one, the original car. Now please look at this relief on the wall. So this relief shows the Toyota Model AS7 is competing with Tsubame locomotive engine on Tokaido line. So that train was the fastest express train in Japan at that time. The maximum speed of that train is 90 kilometers per hour, and also the Toyota Model AS7's maximum speed is 110 kilometers per hour. So might be the Toyota Model AS7 won this race. This comes from the real story. Okay, now please look at the next relief. Shows the Toyota's original plan, the Corolla plan. It was built in 1938. The Toyota's head office is located next to this plant in Toyota City all, that's a steam power car. It was invented in 1769. So after that, in the mid-80s, they made electric car. Finally, in 1886, Mr. Carl Benz, a German person, made this car. It's a Benz patent motor version. It is the really first practical gasoline-powered car ever produced in the world. So this is the steering system. People would grab the wooden part and swing like this. Swing like this. And there's a black lever is the brake. If people push down the lever, the car moved forward, but there was no reverse gear, so the car can only move forward. And the engine is positioned behind the seat, please. So this red part is the engine. It's a single horizontal cylinder. The engine displacement 1000 cc and it develops just 1 horsepower. And to start the engine, people have to turn this flywheel by hand. The maximum speed of this car was just only 15 kilometers per hour, so it's maybe just kind of a bicycle. Okay, please wait until the So in the early 90s, Americans earned about 100,000 automobiles. And half of these vehicles was steam powered, and 30% were electric, and 20% were gasoline powered. There was a few gasoline powered cars because they needed patent to make the gasoline powered car. So this green car is a steam powered car called Stanley Steamer. The steam powered car was had big power with a quiet running, but it took at least 15 minutes to build up the steam before starting. So it took a lot of time before starting. After that, they made an electric car. This is a Baker Electric. So electric car was very famous among the female drivers at that time because it was very easier to start the engine. But it took about like 8 to 10 hours to recharge the battery, and there's the running range is just 80 kilometers. 80. And after that, they made the gasoline powered car. It's an Oldsmobile Curved Dash. The name of the Curved Dash comes from the dashboard was curved, so they named the Curved Dash. Now please look at these scale models over there. So the skills required to make full-stirring carriages will readily apply to auto manufacturing in other countries. In Japan, the rickshaws and full-stirring carriages are main transportation, so they don't have kind of the car with the engine. In 1898, a Frenchman called Mr. Telenet came to Japan and he brought this handheld Lavasol for the first time. So this is the car that first brought into Japan. So after that, Japanese people tried to make automobiles by themselves, like these scale models. But it's not kind of a finished product than a prototype. So at that time, it was introduced at the French automobile magazines. But it was in the Meiji era, so the people were wearing kimonos. Now please look at this red car. In the early 90s, automobiles were just a plaything for the aristocrats and millionaires. This is Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost. name of the Silver Ghost comes from one of the chassis was fitted with a silver body and ran without very smoothly and quiet, like a ghost. So they did name the Silver Ghost. If you look at the rear seating area, it's very wide and spacious. They say in that wooden box they put in the batteries in it, and also there's a mat that you can clean your shoes before you enter the car. And also, if you look at in this drawer, it's a full set of hand tools. Because there are a few factories that you can fix the cars at the time, so the driver have to fix them by themselves. So they have to carry the hand tools with it. The cars are the original one, but the hand tool was Now please look at this red car from the front. So at the same time, these cars are made for the general public in the US. This is the famous Ford Model T. So this car was using the first mass production basis in the world, and it produces from 1908 to 1927. And in those 19 years, more than 50 million units were produced in the worldwide. So first, the body color was not just only red. They had blue and green and white and black. And from about 1914, they just put it only black, because if they put it only black, they can make more automobiles at the same time as well. So these cars in this area, from this area, is the cars for the general public in the US. Get out of the cars and move forward. Cars for the general public. So you can see that. These are cute. So if you compare the size of the cars with the American cars, the European cars is very small. Because American cars has to move states to states, so they have to put lots of baggages, and the engine displacement is so big. But in European countries, the road is very narrow, and the tracks depends on their horsepower, so they have to make these small cars. The first these two are the passenger car, and the middle one is the sports car for the general public. If you look at it, these are three-wheel sports cars. So from these areas, luxurious saloons from 1920s to 50s. Next, please look at this yellow and black car. In the third floor, we display the cars from 1950s to the recent fall front. So you can compare Japanese and European American cars. The main characteristics of this era is the economic growth allowed more people to experience the enjoyment and comfortability of the automobiles. This is the Toyota Crown Model RS. It's the first generation of Toyota Crown. It was introduced in 1955. So, as the name of the Toyota is kind of the nickname for the small cars in Toyota, the engine displays in less than 1,400cc car have the Toyota's name. The Toyota comes from the Toyota's pet and Toyota. Please look at the interior from this side as well. They use the bench sheet, so 3 people can sit in the front and 3 people can sit in the back seat. So total 6 people can sit. And also in the middle, it's about this one, it's a turning signal light. Oh, if you operate this silver stick, the turning signal lights come from. It goes up?
Okay.
Yes, goes up.
Oh.
Automatically.
Signal. Turn
It has
left,
a
right.
orange light inside, so it's blinks. Yeah. After that, after they have a turning signal light, if they turn their steering wheel, the original position, the turning signal light goes down. So about this car, it costs $1,000,000 at that time. But in Japan at the time, the initial salary of the person who graduated the university and soon working as a public servant is just 10,000 yen. So the 100 times of the initial salary. So it's cost very expensive car, so they use it kind of company executive cars and taxis. Now please look at the pink. There's a pink car. 5.7 meters. So it's mostly to the west. Cars getting bigger and bigger and more compact. So it is the most expensive
$5.
So about time in the holiday, they try to get this car and Oscar hours to be kind of a real superstar. Okay, so the next area is Japanese cars. So please read that. So in 1923, great counter earthquake destroyed the city of Tokyo. So the Tokyo city tried to import track chassis from Ford, and they converted into buses. Before that, in Japan, rickshaws and there was no cars in the main transportation. So after that, Japanese people realized how automobiles were very useful to commute place to place. So at the same time, Ford and Chevrolet made assembly plants in Yokohama in 1925. At first, the Ford made Ford Model T in Japan also, but for 1927, they changed to Ford Model A, like this. So this Ford Model A was assembled in Japan. They used it as a taxi. So this term point, if there is a Ford and Chevrolet, but just only made in Japan, simple. Okay. So the different body color of the it's the same car that introduced in the first Ford. At the time they had three body colors, black and this color and also purple-ish navy. This car is called grayish and brown color. From this Chevrolet. Okay, one of the engine parts are using the Toyota Model A. from these eras. So next, I'm going to introduce that one car. This is the expensive sports bus. Sports cars are also getting more convenient, more comfortable for a big car. This is a Ford drag model 8.2. It's an American car. Please look at the headlights. I'm gonna open it. So this car is the world's first car that allows speed with a fixed broken lines. And then as you can see, right and left is not automatically. The people have to turn to So it took kind of a little bit of time to open it. There's these kind of pipes coming from the sides. This is exhaust pipe, and about these cars have silver pipes design means it has a supercharger on it. So at the time, the design was kind of very important thing for the people. Like if those pipes have the sports cars, it needs kind of a supercar where everyone can see, oh, that's the supercar. Tucker 12, the 32nd US President, Franklin Roosevelt, he used this car on his own parade. So it's a real car that he sat on their rear seating area. So because it's the president car, they use the bulletproof windows, and there's a very thick iron on the side and under the automobiles. And also we have the emergency lighting system. So it's the very heaviest car in this museum. It weighs 3.5 tons. But it's a special honored car for the president. Headlights, the front glass gaining rounder shape. Before that, the front glass was just straight, but from this era, they can make rounded front glass. And I say it's the post-war period in the US. They used such a tail fin design that reflected aerospace era. And also the style of the automobile changed again. The fender and body getting mix combined. So it called the flash shine design. So the design became more museum style. So the last area in the second floor is a post-rotate sports bar. After the post-war period in the US, the survivors from the Europe, they brought back the sports car to the US. This Mercedes Benz 352. It had a double door, and there's a 300 the name or something. 3,000 seats in the displacement. SL stands for the sports bike in German. Some of the Japanese celebrities are outgoing parties. Especially in German, the Japanese cars are very small because there are very few materials to make cars.
The wheels. So small.
Each is kind of smallest car in this era. Say
Which
this
cabin?
car is just 3 wheels, and there's just only one headlight as well.
Super
It's a
cute.
very light car, just only 150 kilograms. Because of that weight, the seat is not only the same position. Because if they put it on the same position, they couldn't get a balance because of the weight. So they have to put it in a different place. So because of the World War II, the Japanese were prohibited to make automobiles after that. So the Japanese skills to make automobiles are well behind compared to the other countries. So the Japanese car maker trying to get technologies from the foreign countries. And Isuzu and like Subaru and Hino and Nissan are trying to get technologies from the European car makers and they cooperated. And they tried to make automobiles with that kind of technology. So only Toyota was using the Japanese technology, just only about Japanese technology to make automobiles. So Mr. Kiichiro Toyota thought they can make the same level automobiles with the Japanese foreign countries' technology, but they couldn't go ahead from that level. So they tried to make automobiles, but just only with Japanese technology. Also in 1955, Japanese industry announced the national car concept. That concept has to be like 4 adults can sit in the automobile, and the maximum speed is 100 kilometers per hour, less than 500 cc. About that concept, it failed because it was very strict. But the Japanese car maker tried to make automobiles to clear that concept. This orange one called Paprika is come from Toyota. The name of Paprika comes from the public and car as a combination word. So at that time, the Paprika name comes from the civil boat. So the person who decided this name, they won one Paprika and 1 million yen for the prize. The deluxe version of Paprika was used as a taxi as well. And so from 1960s in Japan, they had a very big economic growth. For the ordinary people can afford to buy the car abroad. So we have Datsun Bluebird and Toyota Corona over here. The Toyota Corona was the first Toyota's car that success in the US, but they export to the US as well. So the Toyota Crown Motor RS also exported to the US, but it failed because it was very small for the American people at the time. So from that Toyota Corona, they kind of so that and the Toyota are very competing with each other in small car. Made kind of very small car for the company as well. And so from 1960s in Japan, also they made a freeway and Suzuka Circus, and they combination of this car, the first 14 million combinations. And after the 1 year, the combination will 30 million combinations. So they can make their own cars. So it was very famous in the US as well.
With the GTR.
As I said, from 1960s to 70s, the amount of automobiles get increased rapidly. So at the same time, they had a big problem about car accident and air pollution problem. So from 1970s to 80s, the people are thinking about road safety. So they use like three-pointed seatbelts and also the airbag. Also, the Honda Civic was the first car that cleared the announcement of the air pollution problem. So, before this Civic was appeared, so the Japanese still used to make automobiles from well behind compared to the world, but it was the first time Japanese technology was first place automobile technologies. This is the first generation of Toyota Corolla that appeared in 1981. This car also has lots of latest mechanical at the time. This car was the first car that official.
This car is very famous in our country.
It's price, yeah.
The 80s, the style of automobiles get changed as well. So they include not only sedans, and also kind of minivans and 4WD cars. And the executive one, sports cars. So, in late 1980s, the Japanese car market get into the international expensive car market as well. So, Infiniti from Nissan and Acura from Honda and Lexus from Toyota appeared at the same time. So, this is the premium version of Lexus line, Lexus LFA. It uses the same material as a sports car called carbon fiber reinforced plastic, which stands for CFRP. It's only limited 500 units worldwide. So at the time in Japan, the Lexus store had 165 stores. One store, one LFA. In Japan, just only 165 units. About the display, it's a prototype. So the steering wheel is on the left-hand side, but it depends on the country that you sell the car. So it uses a carbon in everywhere, so it's very light material. If they run more than 80 kilometers per hour, the wing part will come up automatically.
To
We
fly.
have the gears up there. So right now it's kind of very premium cars.
That's for us too. Left-sided.
So,
The last car is just like blue car.
That's a human.
This is the world's first mass production hydrogen fuel cell vehicle.
okay.
It's Toyota Mirai that released in 2014. Mirai means future in Japanese. So it produces electricity from hydrogen and oxygen from the atmosphere. From that electricity, they battery around without any emitting fuel. Just only water will come out after the eruption. The first generation of Toyota Mirai has 2 tanks of hydrogen. In those 2 tanks of hydrogen, the riding range is 650 kilometers. We have a second generation Toyota Mirai right now. In the second generation, the hydrogen tank has 3 tanks of hydrogen, and the riding range between 750 kilometers to 850 kilometers. So we've been looking at the development of gas powered car from the second floor. So the steam powered car has lots of time to prepare, and they say the electric car has no long distance of the riding range. So the gasoline powered car was the mainstream of the much of history. But about the gas engine, they have like carbon dioxide when it burns. So they have to think about the global warming as well. So it's been more than 20 years. The first generation of Toyota Prius was appeared. So right now they're developing as well. So we change hybrid cars, electricity cars, and also the hydrogen fuel cell cars as well. So maybe we should think carefully what type of fuel to power